Good, whatever time of day it is, YouTube. AJ here. Not sure when I'm posting this video, but we decided to do a video on some dog food tonight. So here we are. We're making some dog food real quick. Bam. So we got some free biscuits from my daughter. She works at the bar. And they do breakfast and stuff like that. I don't know why I call it bars, bar and grill, I guess. But anyway, she got these for free. They were going to throw them away, and she said, well, I'll take them. And she brought them out to us. So that was kind of a nice deal there. And that's kind of how a lot of the dog food starts out. You get free stuff, or you utilize things you have already to make the feed.
So the biscuits are done.
Biscuits are done. That was easy. Good job.
Watch this steam.
Oh, yeah. So, well, hang on. How do I get out of the light?
Well,
so this is deer meat and lung. Deer lungs.
Yeah.
Okay, and so this meat we got because there was a deer that was hung up in a barbed wire fence that had to be put down. So we were able to harvest some meat for ourselves, but there's always good stuff for the dogs. No matter what, no matter how injured the animal is, there's good stuff to harvest for the dogs. And this one actually was in pretty good shape, being as it was caught up in a barbed wire fence for a minute. There's a lot of meat that was able to be harvested out of there. So my wife and I decided, I like making videos. She likes making dog food. She's making some dog food. And biscuits and gravy was the last thing we were supposed to do. We made some bacon and eggs and everything like that last weekend, I think, is when when she asked, last Sunday, I guess. She asked me to cook breakfast or if I want to, Sunday, whatever day it was. So we saved the bacon grease, which sucks because right now that actually smells really good because I can smell the bacon grease majorly. I thought it was going to be used for our biscuits and gravy, but, with the free biscuits and the deer that got hung up, it's perfect time to make some biscuits and gravy so the dogs get the dang gravy. But that's all right. They want it and love it and need it too. So what are you doing here, dear? Why'd you make that big hole in the center?
Okay, so I kind of got to hustle now because the grease is hot and the meat's fried up. So I'm just going to take and sprinkle some all-purpose flour in and try to get it worked into the grease and all the juices from the meat, which is organ tissues, but whatever. Anyhow, and see there, then we're going to get a little starter, and that's going to be a thickener. We have to work pretty quick with it.
Need me to open those?
I should have, but and then actually I might even just add a little water real quick to tame it down because now it's been going for a second. Okay, you're really in the light.
I'm sorry. And it's been going a little bit long because this guy, he procrastinates sometimes and has other things to do. So now she has to work harder because of me once again. Sorry, dear.
Feeding after dark.
Oh, yeah, and there's always the feeding after dark.
Okay, so here we've got a nice paste from our flour. It's thickened.
Wow, that video is actually going to be upside down. Sorry, guys. Holy cow, let me rotate you over.
Oh, my.
Yeah, if you watch this channel, you know that I'm still up for hire, people, if you need a good cameraman. Ish.
Okay, so I'm working in a little more water because it got real thick real fast, which it'll do. That's what the flour's for, is your thickener. So now I'm going to add my milk, and this is when it really goes, and you just want to do a little bit and get it worked in. A little bit at a time at first, and you just keep on working it. I use a whisk because that works the best to get this stuff mixed up nicely in a hurry, but people use a fork or a spatula, whatever you want to do. And then just keep adding a little at a time at first and working it in. And kind of keeping your chunks out of the way, if you can, is best. Okay, and so now, once you get your flour pretty well mixed through, why then you can probably go ahead and add more, and pretty soon you can add just quite a bit more. And you're going to want to bring this up to a boil again. So our heat on like medium, I'm going to turn it up from 3 to 4 and get it going hot again. Because then that's what you need is for it to cook, to boil, to get that that flour to activate or whatever, to thicken this stuff up good. And then, as it's doing that, you can rest for a minute. As it's doing that way, then you can keep adding in the rest of your milk. And I've got a little extra water on hand because I'm using evaporated milk, canned milk, and so I thought, well, I better add some water to make it go the distance. But for this batch, I'm going to use 2 cans of milk and maybe a cup, 2 cups of water, like a cup per can, I guess, maybe.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this skillet, a nice deep skillet, this will end up pretty well full, which will make a real healthy full ration for the dogs. Not that this is the only thing we're feeding as far as the full ration goes, because obviously we've got the biscuits, and then I've got a little bit of stuff to add in, which, say, I'll grab it real quick. When the gravy is all done and hot, and too hot to serve straight away, which I have to do, I went ahead and got some
throw it around.
Frozen squash chunks
Right.
out of the freezer. Oops. And so I will use them and add them in. And that's probably when I'll add the last of my cold water here to just to help finish it off and cool it down fast enough that I can get out the door and feed this stuff.
Right.
So.
Makes sense. Which is why you're still in your coveralls. We do have heat,
Right.
people.
I do live in a hoodie in the winter, but not always my coveralls. Most of the time.
And so you use your regular all-purpose flour is the best then for this? Or just because it's what we got? Okay.
Well, yeah, and this is actually slightly expired, so it's the dog's, it's kind of the dog's pantry stuffs anyhow, but
I love slightly
all-purpose.
expired though.
Yeah, do not use self-rising, that's for sure. You don't need baking powder and stuff like that involved in this. You'll end up baking a cake. So make sure it's just all-purpose flour or just straight, whatever basic straight flour.
Well, there you go. Now I got a new challenge for you. You're gonna bake a cake for the dogs.
A skillet cake. Could probably do that.
Dear beef skillet cake of sorts.
Yeah. You can use cornmeal and flour, like a Jiffy Quick cornbread box or any of that, or mix your cornmeal and flour, and then like if that was the case, this pan of meat, well, then you could add just some beans or whatever vegetable thing you want to add into it or whatever, and maybe some tomato paste or I don't know, something of the sort that would be kind of even a cream soup. That would be really good. And then mix up your quick Jif cornbread topping or whatever and pour it on, and then cover it and do like a skillet tamale pie for them.
Oh, hey.
That'd be good.
I love tamale pie, so surely the dogs would. I mean,
skillet cornbread style type of thing.
Yeah. Well, there we go, folks. Maybe we could do a tamale pie dog recipe. I wonder how many times I could turn this camera different directions before you guys are going, what is wrong? But now I'm kind of having fun with that, just to mess with everybody, since everybody is kind of starting to figure out I'm kind of a little bit of a goof every now and then. So I'm going to keep flipping this thing around so you guys have to keep working your butts off to watch the video.
You're a mess.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so now this is come to a boil. I don't know if you can see very good, Ben's, you're in the light again.
Oh,
but
shit. Sorry. Well.
So there, a nice little boil. And I'm feeling
we'll go like this, guys. Oh, that's completely upside down. Boom, there you go. Holy cow, everybody's gonna be, this is gonna be like, I should be able to charge for this. Like, you know how they do at the state fair?
I hope nobody's drinking watching this.
Oh.
Usually I'm a drinking, but if you don't drink anyway, then he's gonna make you dizzy.
Well, you're gonna have to drink to watch this.
Maybe that's the key. That's the ticket. Okay, so anyways, it come to a boil. So I'm feeling like it's gonna end up being a little thin. So at this point, I'm gonna add a little more flour because I want it to be thick and filling. So probably like that. What is this? 1/4 of a cup. So I've added about half. I've used about half. So what is that, like an eighth of a cup of flour, and that should be plenty for this whole skillet once all my liquids are in, and especially considering.
Coming right back to you, babe.
Grab your beer. Speaking of drinking.
Hey, now I had a rough day at work.
Especially considering the factor of I know I want it to quick cool when I'm done, and so I know I'm going to be adding the extra, water at the end, probably the last cup of water at the end, and then this frozen squash, which of course is full of moisture. So I added that extra flour
Because the moisture will...
to compensate, so it's not soupy, but just to make it more filling. They love soup too. It really isn't that big of a deal. It's just a matter of how full you want them to be.
And the extra moisture during the winter is extremely helpful for, especially dogs. I mean, humans need it as well, but yeah, to get the dogs that little bit of extra, because cold water sucks to drink, and we try to keep as best fresh water as possible out there, but it's cold, so give them something hot with a little extra moisture.
Okay, so this is thickening again. See there, after adding that flour. And it's real nice. It looks like a really nice, thick brown gravy. Anyhow, so now I'm going to go back with the milk.
Right in the light. I love it. Do you want me right in the light? Is it helpful?
And I'm going to work in a little at a time again. And just keep working that whisk. Like you're getting paid to do it.
Do you want me to stir for a little bit?
No.
Dang.
It's fine. Because here in just a second, I'm just going to pour the rest in. And we're going to have to just let her cook up again. And I'm probably going to go ahead and do this one too. To get a little more in there going on all at once.
So can you use the regular, this is going to be a dumb question, but I'm not a cook. Can you use the regular condensed milk if you're making... regular gravy?
Milk, it's
evaporate. I'm sorry, evaporate. All right. Be all technical and stuff.
There's a big difference. They're not feeding your dogs condensed milk.
Okay, well.
Sweetened condensed milk. That's like, not good.
All right. Well, now okay. Thank you. But okay, evaporated milk. Then can we use that for regular gravy then? Or use
it, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Or if you have your powdered milk, your dried milk. Mix it like it calls for to make milk, and use that. That's fine too. Any of that stuff. You can use other kinds of milk, I guess too, if you have that.
Okay. Well, whenever I think of gravy, I just think of cow titty milk. So.
Cow titty gravy.
Yep, cow titty gravy.
Yeah, honestly. If you do not have milk,
nope, sorry, missed you.
If you happen to have cornstarch, that's a thickener. Essentially, that would be like the flour. But like if I think the milk and the flour, well, the flour is a thickener, but the milk definitely helps set the thickener, make it gravy. So maybe if all you had was water. And if you happen to have cornstarch, you could probably basically do a good enough gravy out of that if you mix it. Just remember, your cornstarch needs to be mixed into liquids cold for it to dissolve.
I see.
Don't put it in the hot. You'd have to mix cornstarch into like your cold water.
Right.
And then get it thoroughly blended in that liquid, and then pour it into the hot skillet and stir like that.
Yeah.
And try that. I don't know. I haven't tried that, but that's a theory.
Well, we can't put theories on here.
We're
teaching. No, we're teachers. No, okay, we're not teachers. We're silly country folk doing silly country things.
Well, so here in a sec, this will come back up to a boil again. And then I'll add the rest of my milk and stir it up. Mix it all in. And it'll thicken up.
And then you dump the squash in, or?
Well, once we get that step, it's already starting to bubble a little bit. It doesn't take long to whip up some gravy. It's just like, go, whisk, mix, don't hurry, work it up, get it. Have all your stuff handy. That's the thing. Have your stuff handy because
Let's hurry up and wait.
you don't want your grease to be hot and you go adding that flour in.
Oh, yeah.
And then realize your milk is not handy because then you're kind of in a spot. Then you got to take time to go find or grab, to even turn around and grab the milk out of the fridge and get it open to pour it in there, and then you already got burnt stuff. It's like a flash.
So you're talking about like when I cook it, when I'm making gravy for us, then I start going, honey, come in here and help me. Please grab this. Yeah. So I can make a video of me making gravy to show you guys exactly what not to do. That would be a good thing, because then you'll see me crying for help, begging for this, asking for that, and
Hollering for a hand.
cussing a little bit, going, why in the hell didn't I do that? Well, just get the stuff out. Okay, well, that makes sense. That's why we have you, to make sense. Proper planning, those peas we just discussed the other day.
Right. So I'm done with that. That can go back. And see, it's starting to bubble already again.
Yep, get out of the light.
A little bit of action happening again now.
So, should I run this the full length, or should I go ahead, can you kind of round it out? What do you think? You want to run the full length of this, or do you want to kind of just finish telling them how this works? What do you think would be the best way to do this?
It's pretty well, I think it's pretty well about done.
Okay.
It's bubbling again now.
So we just run her out then.
Basically,
All right.
I guess. Either way, so now that it's bubbling again, it's boiling. It's not like at a full rolling boil or anything, but that's okay. It's hot enough. It's bubbling good enough. So I'm just going to go ahead and dump the rest of the milk in. And then mix that up. And then I will retire my whisk into the sink of the mess with the...
I don't want the whisk touching the deer blood. It offends me a little bit.
And bring in the spoon. And then I'll start bringing my whole pan together like this and bring the meat and all the good stuff in and get that stuff worked all through, everything together.
Man, I want some chunks like that when we do biscuits and gravy. I want chunks of sausage or bacon would be great in that size of chunk. I feel sad that the dogs get bigger chunks of meat in their gravy than I do.
Well,
I mean, if I can fill up on gravy and chunks of meat, I don't even need the biscuits, honestly. They're good together, don't get me wrong, honey. Don't give me that look, but you know.
Okay, so here again in just a minute, it's gonna bubble a bit again, and then
Right.
I'll know it's ready to just go ahead and see it's already starting again. The lungs are jumping.
Nice.
And then I'll be able to go ahead and just shut it down.
Even with the lungs, even with the lungs, it still smells pretty good though. Like it still smells like.
Yeah, I noticed that lungs tend to smell pretty bitter.
Usually, yeah.
And this time they didn't, but this was a yearling.
Right, little button buck.
Right, and he was quite tender, and his lungs were real good looking. His organs in general all looked real nice.
Oh man, his
He had
heart
a
was
very
nice.
Nice liver. Oh, I didn't get to see his heart.
Oh, his heart was nice.
Good. And that'll be another good one. The heart, that's nice. Anyhow, so yeah, I don't know if that could be an age factor or
Maybe
a
something to
stress
consider.
factor. No, he was highly stressed, so that can't be it. I don't know.
Well, no,
But these
yeah,
guys
but not
smell
near
bad.
as highly stressed as when you're trying to deal with women for 8 or 10 years. I'm sorry. I mean,
Is that a rut joke? Okay.
so after 22 years of marriage, I can get the hint when she gives me the look on the gravy of what I should and should not be eating. So I had to throw a little bit of my own humor back at her because I got the look for what I want to really eat in life. Lots of gravy and biscuits and pizza, and I'd definitely be if you weren't around here, I'd probably be 400 pounds.
Okay, so this is still pretty thin, but if I was to take the time to cook it longer, it would thicken, and then as it cools, it thickens anyway. But it's 6 o'clock, so
Going with dog soup.
kind of.
And I've got something to do at 8 o'clock,
really
so
care, so
yeah.
it's whatever. It'll fill them up, and they will love it, and they don't necessarily really care how thick it is.
Oh, yeah. As soon as that front door opens, they're going to be yapping. So even with it being a little thinner, are you going to go ahead and add the squash in there then?
I am, but I think well, let's see. I need to figure rations. I don't think I'm going to add the water, though.
I wouldn't.
But I do need it to cool. We'll see. Let me get it off the heat.
It is snowing outside. If you just set it outside in the snow pile for a minute.
That's true.
Cool.
It'll cool off fast once I
Super
get it
cool.
outdoors, but...
That'd almost be as cool as me, just instantly. Not even gonna smile. That's what happens.
Pay no mind to off the heat and go ahead and add this.
You can always tell when you're busy though, because like normally you would giggle or say something, but busy you just ignore. Like
You're so distracting.
I love being distracting. That's how I can't believe I became a supervisor. I'm super distracting. A supervisor should be not that, but apparently there's some other qualities they like other than being distracting.
Okay, so I added in the frozen yellow squash to get it to hopefully help cool this down a little bit rapidly and make it servable as soon as possible, and add just a little more something into it. And they don't seem to mind. Some of them don't care for it, but they don't. They eat it. They work around it if they don't want to eat it, but it's whatever.
Knock over the trash can and eat it.
Yeah, and especially like in a gravy. Like I said,
right.
You can put just about anything in a gravy and.
Oh yeah. I could put about anything in a gravy and I would eat it.
Okay, so then.
Oh.
Now you're following me.
Nope, I won't. Come over here. Sorry.
The last step of it all is the biscuits. Goes with it as their ration. Now, you can throw some kibble with if you prefer or don't have biscuits. Use the kibble or whatever. But if you have neither, you could use rice or pasta.
Rice would be a good one, yeah.
Or potatoes. Any of that would be a good sub for kibble if you have none. But anyhow, and I'm gonna probably give like two per with a
two
good,
per dog.
Right. With a good figure this probably in quarters. Fourth of this pan ration, 2 biscuits. And that makes for a full ration for a
4 dogs.
Medium size. And totally good enough to get them through a cold night. And we have kibble too, so we've got kibble to throw. And sometimes I do make them some good stuff to put with the kibble, just to fancy that up for them a little bit and make the kibble stretch.
Yeah.
But tonight we're doing a full replacement meal basically. So it's a once in a while thing that we do with the full substitute type of deal.
Right.
And when we can, then we do, and it does make the kibble last that much longer, and we can space it out enough to where they get kibble here and there throughout, and more often than not. But there is, a good ration, probably a good percentage of the feed is home cooking.
Heck yeah. Well, in our tabletops, love it. And I call them tabletops because they're round like a barrel, so I guess I shouldn't even call them tabletops. I don't even know what to call them, but for the type of breed they are, they're not supposed to look like our dogs do, but they're a little bit spoiled.
Well,
and
they're not no spring chickens.
and that, yeah.
They're
yeah.
a little on the senior side, most.
Yeah, they're all about to the...
So that's a good thing.
Yeah, they're all about to make the old retirement home center that we got out here. So I think I'm going to cut this off.
Yep.
And call it a night.
It's done.
And all right, I will say thank you, YouTube, for watching. You guys got this video that is hopefully helpful and unique at best. And I appreciate y'all watching. And I really appreciate my wife being the star and doing the work and letting me run the camera. I'm trying to get this whole kick of this YouTube thing and just being this cameraman. I think that's going to be my new job, is just a cameraman. And that way I can get out of everything so that I can hang out and talk to people or just watch people work, and I'm done. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Be safe. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Prep for your dogs. Need to prep for all your animals. Good night.